Hold up. Wait a minute. I wish you love, peace, and hair grease.
Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Ain't no shooting straight from the hip.
This is Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Critic, and I shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know I'm always shooting straight from the hip.
Hey, everybody. Yay. Your girl is live. Your girl is live. Oh my God, my hair's all over the place. Okay, let me push it up. Hi, everybody. This is Carla Renata. You have tuned into the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. And what we do here is we do reviews we do film reviews, and we talk to people above and below the line in the film industry. If this is your first time joining me, please click the bell for notifications below you if you are on the YouTube, if you are on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook. Subscribe to the channel because you never know who you might see here. So I got a jam-packed show for you guys today. I have 3 of the cast members from A Handmaid's Tale season 5. I have RENEE Fleming talking about her special Cities That Sing, and this one is taking place in Paris. And I also have a Jazz Man's Blues, Tyler Perry, and his leading lady and leading man, Joshua and Solea. So without further ado, I always start out. Oh, yes. And give me a big thumbs up to let me know that you were here, because otherwise I don't know that you watch. I don't even know that you supported me. So let me say hello. Oh, hey, Sean Earl. Look at Sean Earl tuning in to see his sister. Thank you. I appreciate you. Hey, boo, hey. And I always talk to Brandon. So look what Sean Earl said to me. He said, it's nice to see my face. It's nice to see your face, if only on the computer screen too, boo. And then Brandon said that he is going to officially start his animation classes tomorrow. So we want to give snaps and claps to Brandon, because Brandon always supports us here at the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. So without further ado, let's go on and talk about what I did last week. So usually I say what I did last week and tell you what's coming up next week, so on and so forth. So this week was bananas because I left Wednesday to go to Toronto, Canada for the Toronto International Film Festival, which is still going on through September 18th. So I'm not done with the films, watching the films, but I saw a good portion of them. Let me just say that. I saw a good portion of them. But let me tell you what I did before I went to TIFF. So before I went to TIFF, I moderated this panel for a docuseries that is going to be on Disney Plus called Growing Up. It is executive produced, and some of the episodes are done by Brie Larson. And she speaks with a plethora of the kids that you see in the picture, including Sage, Dolan, Sandring, Emily Flores, and Alex Grotty. So these kids are people that have had issues. Some of them have had disabilities. Some of them have been bullied. Some of them have had identity crisis. Some of them are transgendered. They all have issues, but they all speak to how they get past their issues, right? So go over to the Cherry Picks YouTube channel and watch that there, and then pop on over to Disney Plus and check out Growing Up, produced and directed by Brie Larson. Now here is me at TIFF acting a complete and utter fool. The person in the front with his mouth hanging open, that is Sean Edwards, who is a member of the Critics' Choice organization. And I'm doing that little thing behind him because we got ready to take a picture, and he stuck his big old Gilligan hat right in front of me. So I was like, I'm going to do Deuce's bunny rabbit ears behind your head. And next to me is Nicole Zwang from Netflix. And then I went out on the streets and took a picture of myself to just prove that I actually was in Canada. Y'all, not for nothing, but that little outfit I bought at a street fair, and I was so proud of myself and excited. It was bananas. And then I got home, and TIFF and Disney Plus were happening at the same time, the D23 convention that they have bi-yearly. And they sent me this cute little thing. Look at that little disco ball and all those little streamers and a little Disney Plus sweatshirt and some speakers and a little camera. I thought that was way too cute. And then some things like this went down. They talked about the Disney 100 exhibition that's going to be kicking off. They talked about Willow that's going to be kicking off. Harrison Ford did had an emotional response to him announcing that Indiana Jones 5 was going to be his last film. Barry Jenkins announced Mufasa, the Lion King, and I'm a Lion King girl, so I can't wait for that. And then my girl Tamron Hall was there. Yes, Tamron Hall from ABC. It was her first time at Disney, her first time at D23, and she looked like she had a great time. So after I got back from TIFF, I ran on over to the Emmys, child. One of my dearest friends invited me to go as his date, and I whipped out this Badgley Mishka gown from Rent the Runway, honey, and hit the carpet and was doing the best I could to keep it moving. But let me tell you, I kept it moving quite flawlessly because the first person to win with Cheryl Lee Ralph. Those are her kids, Miss Ivy and Mr. Etienne. We were crying and cheesing down when I saw them jumping up and down for their mother. I had to go give them a hug and say hello. But Cheryl Lee Ralph made history because not only was she the first woman to win Best Supporting in a Comedy Series 35 years after Jack Hay won for 227, but Zendaya became the second youngest winner to win in a lead category that is African American, and Quinta Brunson won for Abbott Elementary. There were so many firsts, but we'll get into that at some other time. Let me tell you about some of these movies that I saw at TIFF. I saw this movie called Glass Onion, honey. It was hilarious. It's a Netflix joint. It stars Daniel Craig and Janelle Monáe. And it is, if you saw Knives Out, the original one, this one is even better. This one is better than the first one, if you can even imagine that. It is hilarious and so much fun, y'all. Check it out when it hits Netflix. It'll be coming soon. I'll let you know when it's coming. Again, that is Glass Onion. Then I went, what else did I see? And then I saw this one. I told y'all I was going to see Sydney, and I saw Sydney. It is directed by Reginald Hudlin. It is produced by Oprah Winfrey in tandem with Apple TV Plus. Y'all get ready to get some tissues when this one hits, because it is just, it broke my, I learned so much more about Sidney Poitier that I did not know. And I was inspired even more from the things that I did know, but I'm telling you right now, it's a tearjerker, and I would not be surprised if this ends up in the final running for the Oscars in the documentary section, because it was everything. I talked last week about this Louis Armstrong documentary. Baby, again, I learned some things about Louis Armstrong that I didn't think I knew. I was like, well, okay, Louis Armstrong, who knew that you had all of that going on right here? Okay. I also saw this film called Biosphere. It stars Sterling K. Brown and Mark Duplass. That's not a very good picture. I'm sorry about that. But it is hilarious. It's about these two guys. One is a scientist. One is a former president of the United States. And some world event has occurred, which was caused by the president, which puts them in this pod together, or this sphere, so to speak, trying to wait out whether it's going to be the end of the world. We're not quite sure. But the bromance that ensues between Sterling K. Brown and Mark Duplass is unmatched. Their chemistry is bananas. They do the daggone thing. The script is hella funny. I laughed. There's some really touching, poignant moments throughout the movie. It's called Biosphere. I also saw this movie called The Inspection. Again, sorry about the picture, with Jeremy Pope. Y'all remember him from Hollywoodland, with Ryan. I can't remember Ryan's last name, but Hollywoodland, that was on Netflix, about, what would have happened if Hattie McDaniel had been able to sit in the room and all that. He stars in this movie, and is based on Elegance Bratton, who is to your right if you're watching the screen. He wrote and produced this. It's based on his story as being a queer man in the military, and Gabrielle Union over on your far left plays his mother. When I tell you Gabrielle Union is doing the damn thing, Gabrielle Union is doing the damn thing, okay? Gabrielle Union should have got her due when A Birth of the Nation came out a little while ago. And because of all the shenanigans that ensued around that particular title, she did not get the props that she should have got. Well, she gonna get it this time. I ran into her at the after party for this, and I told her, girl, buckle up your seatbelts and get ready, because it's about to be on and popping for you. She's going to get a lot of love this award season. You guys, The Inspection is a queer story for the ages. It is going to redefine how people look at queer people in the military. It's just going to define how people look at queer men, period. It is called The Inspection. I promise you, you will love it. I also saw A Jazz Man's Blues. That is Soleil on your left and Joshua on your right. I'll talk more about that when we get into the interviews a little later on. And then I saw The Fablemans, which is a story based on Steven Spielberg's life growing up. Michelle Williams plays his mom. Paul Dano plays his dad. This film is beautifully acted, it's beautifully told, and it will warm your heart, but it'll break your heart in a million pieces all at the same time. I enjoyed it. That's just a little bit of a taste of what I saw. And I also saw this, and I almost forgot. I buried the lead. I saw The Woman King, y'all. The Woman King with Miss Viola Davis, Miss Tuso, Miss Lashana Lynch, Miss Adrienne Warren, Mr. John Boyega. They are doing the damn thing. This movie right here is directed by Gina Prince Blythewood. It's inspired by true events that took place in the kingdom of Dahomey, one of the most powerful states of Africa in the 18th and 19th centuries. It tells the story of Naniska, the general of the all-female military unit known as the Amazons, and her daughter, Nawi, who together fought the French and neighboring tribes who violated their honor, enslaved their people, and threatened to destroy everything they've lived for. Baby, when I tell you that this film is going to be great for everybody involved, you do not want to miss The Woman King. It is a Sony Pictures joint. It is going to drop this Friday on September 16th. And did I say that September 16th was my birthday? I didn't, but I'm going to say it. September 16th is my birthday. You don't want to miss it. All right, so let's talk about some other things I saw. I watched the whole, listen, first of all, I've watched every season of The Handmaid's Tale because I kind of dig some Elizabeth Moss. She is a bad mamma jamma. And Hulu was kind enough to let me speak to 3 of their cast members, Madeline Brewer, Max Minghella, and Bradley Whitford, to talk about the show. So let me just tell you that I thought this was going to be their final season, but it ended up not being their final season. It ended up being the 5th season, but they got renewed for a final season. I'm so excited about that. So yay, really excited about that. So without further ado, I'm going to play this interview first with my girl, Madeline. And then I'll come back on the screen and play the one with Max and Bradley. So here we go, y'all. A Handmaid's Tale, or The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu. And here we go with this interview with my girl, Madeline Brewer.
Nice to see you, Carla. How are you?
It's nice to see you too. Last time I talked to you, it was for Cherry Picks. And I don't know where I was. It was you and Kira, right?
Yeah, me, Kira, and Alec.
Yeah. So, girl, and I told you then, I love you on this show. I love you so much. And this particular season, honey, Janine went through a lot. She went through a lot. But having said that, what would you say has been the most valuable lesson you've learned while inhabiting her for the past few years?
Oh my goodness. I mean,
it's so much, I know.
So much I've learned. I was saying this earlier as well. Like, I started playing Janine when I was 24, and I just celebrated my 30th birthday this year. And we've grown together. I mean, we've wizened, we've grown, we've hurt, we've cried, we've been through a lot together, she and I. And but the thing that really Janine inspires me. She bolsters me. I'm so proud of her. I'm in awe of her. I talk about her like, it's weird. I talk about her like she's like a best friend or like a sister. She's like, I don't have a sister. She's like my closest thing to a sister. And it's hard to think about her and I as the same person. Mm-hmm. They're so different. Mm-hmm. But I learn from her all the time.
That's so cool. And I'm always interested to know this from you ladies that are on the show. When you started The Handmaid's Tale, our reality wasn't what was happening on the show, but it's slowly but surely becoming that.
especially here in America. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that because it's super scary.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, you know, the visual element of The Handmaid's Tale and what exactly it is, what exactly happens in the Republic of Gilead, how it is manifest in this TV show, what that is. I don't think that that's necessarily what it will look like for us, but that doesn't mean that like that we don't have our own version and that we're not on our way to our own version, because there is, you know, there is the ability, I think, in this world of technology and of the internet for us to, in milliseconds, share information, share thoughts, share, but there's also within milliseconds sharing misinformation, sharing. So I do think that like I am a little bit frightened of where we are, because of the ability to use the internet. I mean, not necessarily with the most responsibility. And so, no, I don't think it'll look like red robes and teal dresses.
Ooh, girl, but, let's hope not.
Yeah. I do look really good in red though.
I was gonna say red is my favorite color, but I'm not trying to inhabit her like that.
No, but I do think that like there are ways in which obviously we are already, you know, moving in that direction. I mean, like the insurrection on the Capitol, it's like what happened in the book when they overthrew Congress. We didn't wake up. And I feel like we're all in such a place of, you know, right now I'm working on Cabaret, the musical.
Oh, congratulations. I love that for you.
Thank you. That's why the hair is short. But we are talking so often because it takes place in Berlin in 1931. And, you know, the Holocaust didn't really happen until 10 years later, in like 1941. But the groundwork that was being laid 10 years prior for the Holocaust to happen, people don't want to wake up. They want to take individual things that have happened and chalk them up to, oh, that was the time that there was an insurrection and people stormed the Capitol. When we look at that, I hope and I pray that we can look at that as an isolated incident. But God forbid we look at that 10 years from now and think that was just the beginning.
I'm really hoping that's not the case.
Yeah, that is what I mean is like, it's going to look different for us. Our Gilead is going to look different based on who we are and where we are in our world and in our country right now. But I know people compare The Handmaid's Tale and say it's like, oh, you know, it's not meant to be a textbook or a rule book or whatever. And those are funny, quippy little tweets, and that's amazing. Good for you. Get your followers up, whatever. But let's not forget that The Handmaid's Tale is a work of fiction, and that there is a very real life and real danger very present in our world. Anyway.
Absolutely. You know what? You a deep doll. I love talking to you because you never leave any stone unturned in a conversation, and I appreciate you for it.
I do appreciate her for it. And I hate that they cut it off before we could say goodbye. Thank you, Hulu. But anyway, y'all know me. I shoot straight from the hip. What can I say? But The Handmaid's Tale starts streaming season 5. It starts streaming tomorrow on September 14th. Baby, June is going through some things this season. You are not ready for how it is going to turn out. I have seen all of it, and I'm telling you, it is definitely worth the watch, especially for this doll right here, Miss Madeline Brewer. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about Max and Bradley Whitford. Their characters on this show are extremely complicated. And from the first season to this season, they have gone through an evolution of sorts. And so I sat down with the boys and we talked about this evolution of theirs a little bit, and how they're feeling about season 5. So without further ado, take a look and a listen to this interview with Max Minghella and Bradley Whitford from The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu. So, the Handmaid's Tale is my jam. I love this show. I've seen all 5 seasons of it, and I'm so very excited for this 5th season. And I know that both of your characters have gone through some evolutions over the years that it's been on the air, right? Nick and Commander Lawrence y'all are some very special dudes. Especially in season 5, we start to see the onion get peeled back on both of you guys in very different ways. And like Nick seems to be embracing his life in Gilead just a little bit more than before. And we're seeing the commander seeming to embrace his new position and rank. Yet you guys are both struggling desperately with your relationships with Serena and June while navigating their own relationships, while they're navigating their own relationships with each other. So I know that's a lot to unpack and that I said a lot, but if you could at least try to give me a little character insight regarding these shifts from both of your perspectives, I greatly appreciate it. And I'll start with Max first. Did I totally confuse you?
Not at all. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that at the beginning of season 5, Nick has a new marriage. He is, I think, earnestly trying on the Gilead shoes for the first time. And as the season progresses, it just the shoes don't fit, and he starts to realign with his actual moral compass again, which is good. He's not so awful by the end.
Right. How about you, Bradley?
Well, I think not without reservation. I think Lawrence sees an opportunity to put himself in a position of power. I think inspired by June, who's sort of part of the power of her character, is blowing the spark of decency in Nick and in me and in everyone around her. And I think she's kind of showed me a path to redemption that is going to require me to get in the game a little bit, and hopefully getting in the game doesn't destroy my capacity for redemption. We'll see.
I know, right? You guys are, y'all, like I said at the beginning, you guys are some interesting dudes. Your characters are some interesting dudes in the course of this show. And there's only so many things I can ask you without, giving spoilers to the show. But I will ask you this. When The Handmaid's Tale first started, never in a million years did we think we would be seeing the reality get closer to what the reality is in The Handmaid's Tale, in terms of how women are being treated, right? And I just wanted to get your opinion about that, how you're feeling about the fact that this book that Margaret Atwood wrote was, that was totally fictionalized, is now starting to become a reality, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen around the world, specifically in my country, the response to having a Black president for a while has been a sudden rise of what I see as white nationalism, which Margaret Atwood has always seen as having at its reptilian brainstem misogyny. So it's a little scary. I think we all feel overwhelmed. I think we all dabble with hopelessness, and I think that's exactly where fascists want us to be. And we have to, when we look at what we're up against, I think about, if you look at what the civil rights leaders in the South were up against. In the fictional world, if you want to look at, what June is up against, action is the antidote to despair, and our children, it's the luxury our children can't afford. So turn off your television shows and get involved in the political process.
I know that's right. Well, unfortunately, I am out of time. I wish I had more time to talk to you guys. You guys are great, and I love you in this show, and I love you beyond the show. I'm a huge fan of both of you. So thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I am a huge fan of the show. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And again, it starts streaming season 5, The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu tomorrow, September 14th. Now, I was talking to y'all about A Jazz Man's Blues, and I said that I have some interviews from that for you. So let's get into that for a second, shall we? So let's talk about what it is. Tyler Perry wrote this 27 years ago. He is a native of New Orleans, and it's going to be on Netflix. All of these films, most of the films that I'm talking about, are going to be on in the theaters on September 16th, which is Friday, my birthday. Did I say it was my birthday on Friday, September 16th? I think that I did. Anyway, A Jazz Man's Blues is set in a post-World War II South, where a young Black jazz singer leaves his rural town in search of fame. During his absence, it's discovered that he had an affair with a local married woman who actually was passing. Let's just say that. But all is not as it seems, because the woman is actually his former lover and a light-skinned Black woman who has been passing as his wife, just like I said. Her racist husband has no idea about her color or her past and organizes the local clan to hunt down the jazz singer. He's now a successful performer in Chicago, and the jazz singer himself has been drawn back to the South to save his mother's ailing nightclub and face his accusers. Let me tell you a little bit about A Jazz Man's Blues. It takes place in Summerville, Georgia. So when we're talking about the South, we're talking about Georgia. You can't get no more South than that. Hattie Mae is the girl who plays Hattie Mae. Just wonderful. I can't say enough about her. I'll talk about her in a minute. But Leanne is played by Soleil, who I'm interviewing, and Bayou is played by Joshua. When I tell you that this is the thing, so there's this scene in the movie that happens between Bayou and Willie's manager, and Willie is Bayou's brother. There's a whole sibling thing that's happening, and it's quite intense. But there's this whole conversation where they talk about how Black people and Jewish people have the same plight. And during that time, we're talking 1930s Georgia, Jews were just as ostracized as Black people were. Oh yeah, Sean Earl, you excited? What? Yes, the Handmaid. Okay, well, let me just address these comments real quick. Yes, the Handmaid's Tale cast. Well, 3 of them anyway. I didn't have the whole cast. And thank you for the claps and the snaps. And yes, I'm excited for the Handmaid's Tale too. So now that we have addressed all of that, let's get back to the story, shall we? So, what I love is that Terrence Blanchard did the music for this. Debbie Allen did the choreography. Tyler has really stepped up his game with this particular piece. The cinematography is gorgeously shot. I've seen all of Tyler Perry's movies, the Medea movies, everything in between, the TV shows, Sisters, Bro, all of that. And I'm telling you right now, this is probably his best project to date. It's going to be on Netflix on September 16th. There's a few little schisms in there, like there's some things that aren't explained. And when you see it, you'll know what I mean. But I just want you to know that everybody that's acting in this is doing a really great job. There's this one line where somebody says, why does everybody think that white men are racist? I just don't think that's fair. Said by a white man. I just want y'all to think about that for a minute, because I'm like, really though? But I thought that was an important line to bring up, because it plays so strongly to what the ideology that we still deal with in today's society. But I'm gonna stop talking about the movie and I'm gonna let Tyler Perry finish talking about it for me. So I'm gonna let Soleil and Joshua talk about it for me for a little bit, and then we'll get to Tyler. Okay, here we go. Soleil and Joshua from A Jazz Man's Blues, coming to Netflix on September 16th.
Hey.
What's up, fam? So off camera, we were talking about the whole Broadway thing. How does it feel to go from the Broadway stage to the silver screen with this particular project? I'll start with Soleil first.
It feels amazing. I mean, it's something that it was a blessing that came totally unexpectedly and also came by way of the Broadway community. A lot of people were putting my name in the ring to Tyler's ear, so I owe this opportunity to my other good friends within the Broadway community who believed in me and read the script and thought of me and spoke my name in rooms that I wasn't in. Yeah. And so in so many ways, this was a massive learning experience. I feel like I grew as a person, as an artist, and that is something that I can carry into every project, be it on stage or screen or whatever I decide to do moving forward. But yeah, this whole experience has been such a blessing. And
so you weren't in the room where it happens, but everybody else
was. Thank goodness. Yes.
How about you, Josh?
I mean, I'll say a couple of their names, Crystal and Lloyd and Amber and mine. Just I like to give credit,
yes.
And like the theater is like the gym for me now. Like I've always wanted film and TV. New York was like Broadway's like the NBA of theater. I was like, I really want to make that happen, but segue into the film is what we've always been after. So to be here is like, it's further fulfillment of what we want. So it's a blessing.
Yeah. Cool. And what this film should be called is The Siblings Blues, because baby, that sibling situation was kind of hardcore. Do you guys have siblings?
I do.
So have you ever had a schism that you weren't able to get past with your sibling?
Nah, I think time, sometimes we need more time between schisms, if you will, but eventually somebody's going to say something to somebody, we're going to be around each other and we got to get it right, and we do.
That part.
Yeah.
So are you guys real familiar with jazz? And if so, who's your favorite jazz man or jazz woman?
I am named after a Miles Davis song, so Soleil, songs of Soleil. Yes, I grew up listening to jazz and world music, so this was, But exploring like the jazz of this era, very exciting.
Yeah, which is different than some of the jazz that I grew up listening to. But Ella Fitzgerald, she was born in my area of Virginia, so I'll throw her name out there. There's a gift amongst gifts. So yeah.
That's great. And let's talk about these paper airplanes, honey.
Okay.
I know Tyler generally does like a one take situation, but these paper airplanes, were y'all able to do that on one take?
We did have to take multiple paper airplane takes. They didn't always fall the way they were supposed to, and it wasn't actually usually my throw. I don't want to maybe I shouldn't give away the movie magic of it all. But that was like, there was an expert prop paper airplane thrower.
And once he found his rhythm, it was there.
Beautiful. Magic to see. Yeah.
Once he found his rhythm, so he was like, let me just aim this way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aim that way.
It's a precise art to really get it to fly the way you want to.
Y'all are funny to me. I wish I had more time with you. Your chemistry in this film was bananas.
Appreciate it.
I really enjoyed it, and good luck to both of you.
Thank you so
much.
much.
I'm looking forward to what you do.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Very nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you too. So yes, so let me get their names right, because I hate when people mess up my name. So Soleil is played by Leanne is played by Soleil Pfeiffer. Joshua Boone plays Bayou. Willie is played by Austin Scott, and he is doing the damn thing. He plays Bayou's brother. Between him and Amira Van, and Amira Van from being on How to Get Away with Murder and so many, she's having a moment right now. She plays Hattie, Bayou and Willie's mother. Folks are singing. It's just a wonderful, wonderful project. I really enjoyed the gist of it, and I enjoyed what Tyler was trying to do with it. And I am not alone, because my boy Sean Earl said he'll be watching. I love all the flavors of Tyler. I know that's right. And I do too, baby. I definitely do too. Let's see here. What else was I going to say about that? I was going to say, I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I was going to say, I'm sorry that I messed up Madeline's name. It's not Madeline Brand. Y'all, I'm tired. I'm running on fumes. I am very well aware that Madeline's last name is Brewer in The Handmaid's Tale. So don't be sending me notes talking about that's not her last name. I know her name is Madeline Brewer. I just said Madeline Brand because I'm literally running on fumes between the Emmys and the TIFF and D23. Your girl is tired. Okay. Your girl is tired. But having said that, I want to, go ahead and let you listen to this interview with Tyler Perry. I saved the best for last because, you know, he's doing the daggone thing. And then I'm going to talk about 2 more movies that you should check out this Friday, and then we'll be out of here, okay? So take a look and a listen to this interview with Tyler Perry talking about A Jazz Man's Blues coming to Netflix on Friday. Hey, Mr. Perry,
Hey,
how
Carla.
you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Baby, this ought to be called Siblings Blues.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you before we get into it, I think this is your best one today.
Oh,
and I've
wow.
seen everything.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
so classy, and the cinematography is so beautiful, and the production design and
Thank
the
you.
music and the costume. I could go on and on. But anyway, why did you choose to collaborate with Terrence Blanchard and Debbie Allen on this particular project?
Debbie and I talked about it almost 20 years ago when I first, she was working for DreamWorks at the time, and I bought it to her. She loved the script and wanted to do it. So when I finally decided that this was the time, she's like, I'm in. And Terrence, we're both from New Orleans, so when you talk about jazz and the music and understanding the lyrics and notes and the keys and in between, Terrence is brilliant. So having both of them on board made a world of difference, along with everybody else. But yeah, they were very important to the whole production.
And I noticed that you have a tendency to use a lot of people from the stage in a majority of your projects, myself included. So why do you always go to the stage to find your talent?
You know, there's something about stage actors that have the understanding of, we got to go, we get it, it's time to be on, the show must go on, we get it. Rather than sometimes actors who do film and other things can tend to be, let's just say this, I'm not the director that's going to sit around waiting for somebody to come out of the trailer when everybody's working and we're spending money. You got to be ready to go. So, and theater actors know that.
Yeah, I know this.
Yes,
I do know this about you.
Yes.
You do not dawdle.
Yes,
you do not play those reindeer games.
That's
I do
right.
know this.
That's right. On Have and Have Nots, you noticed it.
Yeah, I did.
Yes,
I was taking
yes.
a little bit. I was like, well, never mind. That's a whole nother
Yes.
story. Just say they ain't about me. It's about
Yes,
you.
yes.
So, with the title A Jazz Man's Blues, having said that, who is your favorite jazz man? Who's your favorite person to listen to that just puts you in a kind of mood?
I don't know if it's a man, but Ella Fitzgerald and the things that she does, it's the scales and the way she hears and is able to hear it and then sing it through Ella is incredible to me.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Joshua said that, and then Soleil shared with me that she's named after a Miles Davis song.
Really? That's
you know
right.
that?
Yes, that's right. She is.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
And why did you title it A Jazz Man's Blues?
20-some years ago when I wrote it, 27 years ago now, I just kept, I know he was going to sing jazz, but he was having the blues all around him. There was so much that he had to overcome, and which would have been normal for a black man at that time in that situation. So that's where it came from. It's all about Bayou's Blues. It had several titles later on, but Jazz Man's Blues I always came back to.
Did the whole New Orleans vibe inspire you with that a little bit?
100%. And writing, I grew up in New Orleans, and from Bourbon Street, you can hear every kind of music from end to end. So when I was writing it, it was clear to the soundtrack that I was hearing.
What would Medea say about Jazz Man's Blues?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yes, honey, I gotta go there.
And she would tell everybody to go see it. They'll enjoy it. Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time
Yeah,
today.
absolutely, Carla. Thank you. Now be careful getting down.
Yeah, okay, give me a minute, y'all.
You
Sorry.
don't need a minute.
I
Stop
just
it.
need to slide. I need to slide out the chair. Give me a second.
It's good to see you again.
Good to see
Okay,
you
all right.
too.
Take
Bye.
care.
You hear them laughing at me in the background, baby. The peers and constituents from TPS, Tyler Perry Studios, they were over on the side cracking up laughing at me. Because when I tell you that, and that's why I showed the angle of us sitting side by side, because that chair, Tyler Perry is like, I'm not sure how much over 6 foot tall he is. He might be 6'4", maybe, but he's so tall that they have special director's chairs for him to sit in when we do these junkets. When I tell you it looked like Edith Ann's high chair when I got ready to climb in there, y'all, I'm 5 feet tall. So He's 6'4". Do the math. I was like, what is happening right now? But I'm glad that he broke down a Jazz Man's Blues for y'all. And I was so excited to be able to speak with him. It really meant everything to me. Sorry about that airplane in the background. I live by the airport and it is just shenanigans on a daily basis. But anywho, let me talk to you about these two movies coming up also on September 16th, which I think are going to be really great for you to watch. One is called Moon Age Daydream. It's a cinematic odyssey exploring David Bowie's creative and musical journey. It's directed by Brett Morgan, and it was sanctioned by the Bowie estate, including his widow, Iman. Y'all, it's a strange little film. It's a very eclectic film, but it wouldn't be a film about David Bowie if it were not eclectic. There's some things that you find out about him that you will not know. I love how we're getting these documentaries on these really famous people that we think we know and we really don't know. But that's Moon Age Daydream. Is hitting on September 16th. I also didn't talk about the Silent Twins. Now, I believe I spoke about this before when I saw it at a film festival, but now it's coming to theaters on September 16th. And it stars Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri in the Black Panther. And let me see, what's her cohort's name? Tamara, what's Tamara's last name? Tamara Lawrence. So Letitia Wright and Tamara Lawrence play the Gibbons twins, June and Jennifer Gibbons. And what happens is it's a true story of these two twin sisters who only communicated with one another. And as a result, they created a rich, fascinating world to escape the reality of their own lives. The thing that is fascinating to me about that particular film is that it's dealing with mental illness from a Black perspective and how mental illness is dealt with from professionals and within the Black community when it's Black people. We have a stigma that happens with that. But I'm going to talk to Letitia and Tamara about that next week when they come to the show. I'm also going to speak with, and I said this before, I'm going to speak with Renee Elise Goldsberry and Jamila Jamel. I might be talking to somebody else instead of Jamila. I'm not quite sure. But I know for sure I'm talking to Renee Elise Goldsberry from She-Hulk, which is on Disney Plus. And I will be reviewing Blonde, that stars Ana Armas. And that's a Netflix joint. And I will be reviewing Mija. And I will also be reviewing Riotsville, USA. So two of those are docs. Mija is a documentary. Riotsville, USA is a documentary. And Blonde is a very anticipated film that has gotten some standing ovations and some really warm receptions at the film festivals Venice thus far. Yeah, so that's it. So you guys, this was fast and furious. I know I'm a day late and $1 short, but I didn't want to leave y'all hanging. I got my groove back, as you can see. And yeah, so I just wanted to remind you of what to check out while we are waiting for next week to come. Remember to check out Growing Up. It is on Disney Plus. It is produced and directed by Miss Brie Larson. Don't forget to check out The Handmaid's Tale, which is starting to stream season 5 tomorrow. The Woman King is dropping on September 16th, this Friday, y'all. Do not miss it. Do not miss it, along with A Jazz Man's Blues, which will be available on Hulu. That was a lot. I know that was a lot that I told y'all about. And again, let's give a nice big warm congratulations to the Emmy winners from last night that made history. Miss Cheryl Lee Ralph, Miss Zendaya, and Miss Quinta Brunson. Yes, we made history last night, y'all. We made history. So let me see if Sean Earl got anything else to say. Oh, he gone. He done left me. But anywho, listen, you guys, thank you so much, whether you tune in real time or not. Thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with me with the Curvy Critic. I'm sorry, at the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. Again, I review films here. I talk to people above and below the line in the film industry. Sometimes I do some TV talent as well, because a lot of the TV talent are film talent. And yeah, that's what I do. So join me next week. I will be here in real time next Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Keep your hands washed. Be safe. We ain't trying to get no more monkeypox. We ain't trying to get no more COVID. None of that madness. You know, we trying to, keep it copacetic. Are you still there? Okay. Listen, I'm always going to give you a heads up, boo. Thank you for popping in. And I'm glad that you let me know you were still here, because I was like, oh, my boy done dipped out. But anyway, I'm about to dip out. So you guys, thank you so much. And thank you, Sean Earl, for popping in. I appreciate you and talking to me. Because you know what, you guys, I do this live all the time. You could always pop in and talk to me. I will talk back, as you have seen and heard. So I will talk about all of those other movies next week. We'll have some more interviews and some more fun for you. And until then, love, peace, and hair grease, and deuces until the next time. Bye. Psych, I'm back.
Nice to see you, Carla. How are you?
It's nice to see you too. Last time I talked to you.
Why did I do that? Just pushing the wrong button. See, that's what happened when you do stuff by yourself. Oh, Lord, I'm a hot mess. Bye, Sean Earl. It was wonderful to have you here, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye.